Go. So I went ahead and rechanged the name of the format here. We are going to be watching this KIBA Arms versus Celestals match. We're going to see exactly how far they can take this to the mat. Another beautiful day and game of series of Dota here. Of course, this is a predominantly Russian server system that we're kind of watching here. I'm a big fan. We are sitting at 1 minute in. Let's see what Snapfire starting items were. Of course, a Blightstone, pretty common. Natural pickup. Did pick up the Little Shredder. Little Shredder, man, the armor loss duration is on top of the fact that she has that Blightstone. It just causes for a lot of right-click potential, especially depending on who you're paired up with. Another probably a stun sitting on the Wraith Fire Blast coming from the Wraith King. A little bit more damage. Ooh, a little bit of mid-harass. I love to see heavy spammers coming out from this Bat Rider, but I would also love to see a Magic Stick. It looks like Void Spirit did pick up the Magic Stick. That's a lot of regen for the Void Spirit. You do have the Centaur War Runner, not a common hero that you've seen right now. Not doing something that is very commonly played. You don't see a whole lot of it. Pretty excited overall to actually see this. A Hoof Stomping, one of the primary sources, but the Retaliate, of course, later on we have a high strength pool. It's just pretty tough to deal with. You do have a 4.6 strength gain, so that actually scales with your Retaliate really heavily. You do have AA in the team, so they're not going to have to look forward to any type of regeneration. Plus, that ulti, man, that Ice Blast is just very difficult to deal with in any kind of a team fight. Doesn't really matter who you are. I think that was actually to make sure that Wraith King himself wasn't countered, because Wraith King relies on a lot of regen out of his own toolkit. You do have a Void Spirit coming in here mid. He did pick up Aether Remnants as well as a Resonating Pulse. Dissimulate not picked up yet, but it might be like on his way. You really want to have a lot of high mobility, but against a Bat Rider, is it completely necessary? Very likely not. I don't mind seeing that, especially considering if he drops down the fire. Looks like Fireflies kind of hasn't come out too much. Looks like they're going to start tagging up on this Earth Spirit. Just going to try to bounce out of there. It looks like AA gets away too. So it's an engage and a quick disengage. Quap, which is not playing mid. I mean, they did give it to the Bat Rider. Bat Rider being an old school, very hardcore mid ganker. They decided to rotate this Quap into this bottom lane. Not really common. Looks like Earth Spirit's going to be playing a little more of a support role. Too much stun, just blink out of there, and your HP is sitting low really quickly. Lone Druid sitting up there with the bear tagging up on that Centaur War Runner. Not worried about Retaliate. If your bear's tanky is all get out. We'll have to keep an eye on some of the builds that are going on this bear. Looks like that Resonating Pulse would be kind of beneficial at this point. Oh, just waiting for the cooldown. It does pick up the retaliation kill. However, First Blood does go the way of the Bat Riders. That's a 370 gold, whereas the return kill was only 152. Plus, the Bat Rider gets the actual experience for that, whereas the Void Spirit does not. On the bear, which I'm curious about, looks like an Orb of Venom as well as a Quailing Blade. Just doing everything he can to get the more slows, get the roots down. That is a very aggressive bear. Blightstone picked up just for general heal purposes. Earth Spirit does have a little bit bonus armor, +2 agility. +2, circulate, which goes to all attributes. Sorry, it just looks like there's some basic free farming going on the side of Centaur. Yeah, looks like they're not really able to contend with him so much. We'll look at the kill last hit scenario in a second. Ooh, Snapfire with the jump. Tags down and rips the armor off that Ogre Magi. Very painful life for that Ogre. Does not need a whole lot more there. That's going to cost him a salve. Decides to jump back in and overstep one more time. I don't know how many salves he has. Or mana for that matter. Fire Blast. Ooh. Why Snapfire chose to tag up there. Do they get the bear? Well, looks like the bear got away. The bear made his way all the way back to base, utilizing a town scroll portal. Town portal scroll. Snapfire have the ability to jump. No, she does not. Rooted down by the bear. Like I said, that is an aggressive bear using that orb of venom on there. Very PvP oriented rather than just right-click farmy. Glaze of Attack sometimes picked up on the bear just for right-click and farm, whereas Orb of Venom does get a better slow and allows you to root and hopefully stun lock your opponent into death, which is exactly what he's trying to do at this moment. Oh, we do have a roll going on to the Wraith King. Wraith King's going to take, retaliates with a Storm Fire Blast. And up top, it looks like that bear might be close to death also. Faith having a terrible time up there. Ooh, KIBA unfortunately goes down. Looks like the Wraith King might be on his way unless he does pick up possible crit there. Yeah, Mortal Strike doing its work. That survivability coming from the Vampiric Spirits there. Any kind of regeneration, any kind of lifesteal, it lets you trade a lot better, which is exactly what happened there. All right, some of the item builds that we got going on. Oh, Snapfire with the jump does use a little cookie. Gets the Centaur War Runner directly on top of that hoof stomp. Looks like they're going to try to get a kill on this Earth Spirit here. We do have a Bat Rider coming in. Oh, so much fire damage. That quick nuke from the Bat Rider. Currently level 5. When going up against the Void Spirit, looks like he's actually out-leveled at this point. Level 6 coming from the Void Spirit. Let's go ahead and look up the last hit deny scenario. Let's make sure people know that we're casting also. Casting. Twitch.tv/. Oh, Bat Rider does get the jump on the Void Spirit, pulls him pretty much a tower. It looks like that, yeah, it looks like that Dissimulate's going to make sure he gets to jump back onto that Bat Rider. A little bit of retaliation, always fun to see. Senpai, doing Senpai things. All right, let's see the names of our contenders. So on Snapfire, we have a Miko Korim. Oh, shit. Mitokiromi. Mitokiromi. Oh, I think this is Russian, so we got to do it like a Russian accent, right? Mitokiromi. Senpai. Faith. Evil V. KIBA Dragon X. Eva. Parker. Daylight. Too easy for me. Coerte Q. And of course, they're playing on the Snapfire, Wraith King, Centaur War Runner, Ancient Apparition, Void Spirits, Queen of Pain, Bat Rider, Lone Druid, Earth Spirit, and Ogre Magi, which I'm pretty sure you've seen at this point. Anybody out there, viewer-wise, can tell me why it goes to the Make Them Kneel? I would love to know why. I click it all the time. I don't know if it actually does anything. Bat Rider farming his little brains out. Bat Rider's actually, there's a point in time where they can like triple stack and farm the triple stack pretty much at the exact same time. Very, very quick farmers, the Bat Riders. I gotta say, when it comes to the farming, I think it was my first farmer that I picked up on double stacking multiple camps with and flash farming. Ooh, another kill goes down on the AA. They did pick up a kill on the Ogre. Earth Spirit is finding a bit of issues. None able to roll out at that moment. Looks like Flamboy's going to start cutting that creep wave. The Bat Rider. Trust the Bat. Looks like he is not going to cut the creep wave. Oh, no, he absolutely is. He went ahead and nuked that down. Oh, Dire's top tower is absolutely done for. Good job, top tower. We're almost hitting that level 10 moment where we're going to start seeing a lot more characters jump into their skill trees. A little bit curious to see what people go into. Snapfire does throw the cookie out of the Void, An easy wipe up on that Earth Spirit, definitely having a difficult game. Ogre picks up another kill on the Wraith King. Now, Wraith King is currently level 7, but did not go into that reincarnation. You see this quite a bit whenever you want to go heavily into your farming. Unfortunately, that reincarnation in these higher ranks, too many people avoid it nowadays, and they end up still dying at level 7 and level 8 pretty frequently. And if you get locked up at level 7 for a long time, for example, if you died like right into level 7 without your reincarnation, it's a significant amount of time until you hit 8 when they come out with like less regrets. So the second they realize that, the second you're going to be ganked on over and over again. Bat Rider does get the pull onto the Centaur One Runner. Centaur One Runner trying to juke out the Bat Rider. Looks like is not going to be able to do so, despite dedicating his ultimate to that. Very rough life. Snapfire does pick up an additional kill on the Lone Druid. So they're going back and forth pretty heavily here. Let's see what some of the builds we got going. Hero level. No one's hit 10. Looks like Bat Rider. Let's see what Bat Rider jumps into. Bat Rider hitting level 10 does not. So you get 4, 8, 9, and 10. So he did not go into the skill tree yet. Looks like Void Spirit's going to be our next level 10 contender. Going up against the Bat in that bottom lane. Let's talk about itemization. Snapfire, very common. You see this this Medallion of Courage. It just removes so much additional armor on top of the fact that your little shredder does the exact same thing. So the armor reduction here, you're looking at loss per stack, which is 0.75 on the 6 stack. So it comes down to like 4. I have to do math. Really not in the mood for it. Ooh, a nice little roll and kick coming in from the Earth Spirit. Does get the, what is that called? Resonating Pulse? Or Magnetize, excuse me. Another roll and stun. Magnetize still going and doing some more work. A lot of damage dealt out from the Earth Spirit. They do commit the Sonic Wave. Does pick up 1 kill on the fattest tank possible. At least on the Radiant side. All right, so Little Shredder did pick up the Medallion of Courage. They do combine with each other really well. Wraith King finally picked up that reincarnation. You'd probably like to see that a little bit sooner, considering he did die a couple times. It's going to come in and start taking this mid, utilize that reincarnation. Void Spirit does pick up the key, comes in just behind, does kick up the Quap. Quap unable to do really a whole lot of anything to prevent that dying. The Macropyre, is that a Macropyre, or is that, for some reason... Now, it makes sense because, you know, it's the Bat Rider, but he laid it out like Macropyre style paint. That up and down line made me feel like there was a Jakiro in the fight for some reason. I'm just waiting on that Firefly, able to farm really quickly there. It's going to go ahead and take out as much as possible. Now, when you're in that Firefly mode, you can walk directly above ground. You don't need to use stairs. A pushback coming from the Flame Break. Does pick up the side cap. Quap is going mid. Got a double smoke going on. Snapfire as well as the Void Spirit. Looks like Void Spirit's going to jump in here really quickly. They do get a little bit of vision of the bear, looks like. Oh, does jump on top of the... Oh, that was not enough damage. Snapfire does try to do a follow-up utilizing her kisses. It looks like that is a very bad gank. Void Spirit just kind of got stuck without enough DPS to nuke down the bear, Lone Druid, excuse me, as fast as humanly possible. Just not enough damage, not enough burst. Maybe could have done a couple additional right clicks in that moment. Looks like he's primarily focused as a spellcaster. Does do 109 damage on per right click. No additional outside from that, but that might have been enough. At least 1 or 2 additional hits, I believe, would have actually taken down that Lone Druid, despite jumping into a bear form immediately. Bat Rider farming. Basic harass. Astral Step into the mid. Does get the quick kill on the Quap. Jumping on the Ogre. No one's going to back up the Ogre, unfortunately. A roll in a 5 is not beneficial for everyone. Neither is Batrider jumping in. If Batrider, does he have the blink yet? He did not pick up the blink. It looks like he's going straight to BKB. Looks like they're going to tear that mid right in half. All these little extra skeletons compliments of the Wraith King. Wraith King did go 15 additional attack speed. Your Snapfire still hasn't picked, well, it's still level 8. It hasn't picked up level 10. You did end up with level 10 of the Centaur Runner. Did not go into the actual skill tree. Does have a lot more tank ability with the Vanguard as well as the Hooded Defiance. Pretty common to make sure you have a Hooded Defiance. It's a lot of HP regen and magic regeneration. Vanguard, obviously, you don't want to get right-click to death. There isn't a whole lot of right-click to be had, though, outside from potentially the Quamp. Let's see what we have from AA. Basic boots, tranquil boots, a little bit of urn. Void Spirit, rocking the Yules. All right, so level-wise, Wraith King's got a pretty decent advantage, which is on a carry. You do have a higher level sit on the Batrider. Now, unfortunately, I feel like Batrider is still in a ganky position rather than a carry position, so those levels might not contend well for him. Would kind of like to focus that elsewise, or otherwise get him a Blink Dagger, because that Blink Dagger could be very beneficial when it comes to just picking off, running away, getting those quick in and outs during a team fight. A Lone Druid, now we don't care about Lone Druid's items, mainly everything that's sitting on the bear, sitting in the Mask of Madness. He does have Javelin. That Javelin's going to make sure he gets a 30% proc chance, getting bonus additional damage, and eventually leads into making sure if anybody picks up Evasion, he still has an opportunity to do damage along with the bear. It looks like we have a quick push top, Astral Step coming off, and it looks like another Snapfire Cookie. They're going to try to commit onto this Earth Spirit. He does try to roll and dies, unfortunately. Not fast enough on the roll. He does not have BKB either to stop himself from taking down that nuke damage. Not a whole lot he can do. This Earth Spirit, the Lone Druid Bear, though, he's kind of getting scary. That Blightstone picking up on that armor reduction. Another Snapfire committed, does get another pick off on the Ogre. Ogre having a very difficult life. Currently sitting in level 8, does not have a whole lot to contend with. Can't go into that skill tree yet. Does have the Veil of Discord, but he's the only one dishing out magic damage, and that's on the Ignite, but that magic damage from the Ignite is a very slow dot over time. Unable to keep up and sustain multiple castings is going to be very difficult to have. Oh, did get a roll off and a resonating pulse. Excuse me, I keep calling it that. Oh, Magnetize, doing so much work from the Earth Spirit. It looks like you have a double roll. They're going to try to get a pick off on this Wraith King. Wraith King does not have his ultimate up. Another roll and stun. Only one left is that Centaur War Runner and the Void Spirit. And it's currently a 5. This is the worst push that they've been able to do so far this game, despite owning a significant portion of the early game. Astral steps away. Not a lot of mana left for the Void, and he does drop along with the rest of his team. AA does not have his ult available. Another 19 seconds. Unable to do anything, so he did expel it. Just was not able to keep up. So item timings, if you look at the recap here, they did give a lot of gold to that side of the team. That is way too much gold. You do not want that going the way of CS here. KIBA, they can't give up that gold lead. 19-15. Oh, they did get a nice push onto the Snapfire. Snapfire being forced to Snap Cookie herself, trying to get into that lane. Looks like they did get everybody low, including the Lone Druid, who they definitely want to pop. Does not have the Aegis or Zaghanim Scepter, so can't do a whole lot with this bear alone. The bear's kind of worthless. They kind of tag up. Oh, that half-life onto that Ogre Magi. Unfortunately, not getting prioritized any kind of farm. Another crit takes the Earth Spirit down, and it looks like it's free farm for KIBA. So they maintain their dominance with the return of vengeance from that push that they had top. Dissimulate. Ooh, nice little after remnant. Now this, I keep messing up. This is Magnetize. Magnetize. Yeah. Flame Break. Assimilate. Snapfire Cookie. And one dead Batrider. Courtesy Kips for the Bat Rider. Courtesy Tips. Thanks for the free food, ladies and gentlemen. Especially for doing so well mid. Does not transition well into the mid game. Do have a bird here. Showed up just to sneeze. Would you like to say hello? There he is. He's a little ghostly because he's green. So he matches it with a green screen, which is amazing because he can actually make my face disappear. Ooh, Sonic Wave called out. Magnetize doing a significant portion of work. Everybody likes to hang close. Fortunately, Snapfire does drop off the Mortimer Kisses. Lands a decent amount of damage. They're going to let the Magi win despite being hit one time, mainly because they need to focus down this Lone Druid who's on the back lines, just tearing everything up, being the highest DPS issue as well as the tankiest. They do get the first death onto the Wraith King. Trying to tag the second. Lone Druid not even really engaging himself, just letting his bear do everything it needs to do. And it works out really rather well. Double stack sound effect. Pretty sure it's a Void Spirit. And now the lull. Lone Druid still refusing to buy any items for himself, including boots. But that bear is atrocious. Currently sitting on the Maelstrom, Hyperstone, Blightstone. Man, that is just very dangerous to deal with. That right click, it's basically the build you want to go for, infinite root. A lot of attack speed, bonus damage with the magical damage procs. Does finish up the Maelstrom, or Molineer. Extremely lethal. That bonus attack speed locking those roots in. Snapfire did pick up a Blink Dagger. That's really good for placement. You can jump out of a fight potentially, drop those Mortimer Kisses and hide in the trees and the shadows. They do know which direction it's coming in after the first one's been launched, so after that you're kind of room for potential trouble. Wraith King did pick up a Blink Dagger himself. You got a Desolator on top of him too, as well as an Armlet. So very lethal, very, very strong. Especially with his double life, which is up in 35 more seconds. Did pick up level 2 on that. Bat Rider coming in. Just grabs. Did he pick him up or not? Oh, does not need actually to use his ulti to kill the AA. Didn't have lasso available to him anyway. Ooh, Sonic Scream utilized on the Void, and Void able to disengage. Nice hoof, three-man hoof stomp. Quap decides this is not her cup of tea, and there's not enough strength in that Centaur Warrunner to keep him alive, nor do enough damage to make it worth not attacking him. See, itemization-wise, a lot of HP regen, but nothing to add to actual significant portions of strength. Still hitting level 15, does have double edge strength damage. Pretty decent, I suppose, but I would like to see a little bit more HP on him, just from the strength side to kind of get a little bit more. Even possibly Blade Mail is a great idea because you know you're going to be rocking everybody in the face. It's probably going to be a more significant deterrent. AA not picking up Ags yet, not picking up Aghanim Shard. Probably just playing a position. Looks like I would definitely say like a 4-5 scenario. Void Spirit does have the Yules as well as speed boots. That's not the greatest for 23 minutes in. Looks like Quap is a high priority on the farm list. Does have a K&S. Cannon Sange. Bat Rider still utilizing a lot of the farm he had from positioning himself well mid. Plus, he farms very well. Still does not have the Blink Dagger to jump in, lasso, and run. That Wraith King does immediately go down. They do send in the Rolling Boulder. Lasso is utilized, able to get a quick kill, running in on the Void Spirit. Void Spirit, despite is magnetized to death, AA does send in his Ice Blast. That's a quick way to go, huh? Looks like this game is turning around pretty significantly. It's very difficult to deal with this bear. You got a very tough tank, large amounts of DPS, and no actual sacrifice as long as you don't die. Aghanim Shard, or excuse me, Aghanim Scepter, something that you typically want to pick up after your bear is 6 slotted. Might actually be a contending moment. Not quite yet, but still a very high possibility. We do have the Spirit Vessel sitting on top of the Earth Spirit. Really good for heals, really good for damage. Ogre Magi, rocking the Veil of Discord as well as Glimmer Cape. Haven't seen a whole lot of Glimmer Cape used, at least not quite yet. They did pick up the Aegis on the side of the Wraith King. He did die the first initial death, but his ultimate is 43 seconds away from coming back, which would give him 3 lives. And he does have 3 minutes on that Aegis. He's very aware of his timings. He's trying to push into this mid lane, it looks like. Oh, they get the jump on the Void. Void instantly teleporting away. Does get pushed around. Magnetized, devoted to make sure that Void pops. Worth it? I would say so. Smoke on the Lone Druid as well as the Ogre Magi. So that's one of the beautiful ideas about the smoke, though, is especially when it comes to your Lone Druid, you really don't want to be seen, period. So smoking before a team fight and hiding yourself while you're kind of localized to make sure your bear is able to do everything the bear needs to do. Bear needs you within a certain range in order to deal with a lot of this command scenario. It is not global yet. Does have an Ag Shard, though, for the Savage Roar. Beautiful AoE. Quap utilizing her blink. Didn't look like that was for any other reason other than just utilizing her blink. Disengage in a 4-man smoke. Plans to rotate are equal to what? Oh, Wraith Fire Blast utilized, taking down that Ogre. He does have his ultimate up. That is 1 death so far on the Wraith King. AA able to get a double ulti off. Snapfire Kiss is coming in. Mortimer Kiss is coming in. Magnetize utilized. And a quick disengage from the Earth Spirit. They did pick up the AA and the Snapfire during that team fight. But the biggest one is going to be that Lone Druid kill. Lone Druid is really quick and easy to pop. At this point, especially if you're going to become what's considered a squishy character, you're going to want to invest in that Ags. Because then your bear can just run around and do whatever he wants without caring. Bat Rider does see that disassimilate. Oh, Astral Step out of there for the Void. Bat Rider still does not have a Blink Dagger. Despite me telling him several times to get a Blink Dagger, you don't have no Blink Dagger. Bink, bink. Bink, bink, bink dagger. Quap teleporting in the mid. Let's go and look at some of these items now. Actually, I would like to see the total net worth site. 16K from the Wraith King, 15, 14, and 13 coming from the next 3 on the Radiant side, or the Dire side. Wraith King being the only one who's really positive on the other team. Now, you still have 11 coming out from the Void, but 11 on a Void doesn't give you the most. It's still sitting at the Yules in the Kaya scenario. Did go with the big boy boots. Movement and momentum, definitely a big issue for him. Oh, man. Does grab the lasso on the Snapfire. Quick kill. But it was 1v1, and you don't get to do anything about this kind of scenario. Bad placement from the Snapfire, in my opinion. Lone Druid still picking up farm. It's going to be pushing in. Looks like they're going to be pushing into this top lane. They're going to try to force rotations. If not, they're going to give up mid to Lone Druid and Quap, and the bottom to the Lone Druid. Retreating a farm. Did force rotations out for 2. Looks like they did send the Void and the Centaur War Runner. And that bear is getting fatter and fatter. The Snapfire did decide to go for 200 bonus health here. See, Lone Druid. Spell application, Resonating Pulse, Aether Remnant damage coming out from the Void. 11 strength, attack speed, and the Scream of Pain damage coming out from the Quap. Low Sword finish on the Centaur. Couple smokes picked up. Let's see where they go with this. Ogre's probably really excited to use these things. Just waiting for everybody to kind of bring this in. Scream dedicated to nothing. Surprised there isn't a boatload of tips going that way. Really is not going to want to engage for another minute and a half now. A little over a minute and a half. 104 seconds to be exact. This is a popularity contest. Looks like I would have potential to win here. Oh, yeah. Oh, a nice change goes in on the Wraith King. They know that Aegis is down. He only has 2 lives that they have to deal with. They send the bear. The bear makes quick work of life number 1. AA does get his ulti down. It looks like Ogre Magi is going to be teleporting in. I'm really glad this game decided to send our system that way. Because that was so interesting. They do pick off the Centaur War Runner, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and pick off the rest of this Wraith King as well. Void Spirit. Looks like he ran his tail off after things kind of went south. It is a 5v1. Only Snapfire has buyback. If they push in this mid, there's a really good chance this is completely the end of the game. Oh, there's a buyback on the AA as well, who definitely has that ulti, but AA and Snapfire and Void, I don't think can actually contest this mid here. Bear sitting on Molineer, Mask of Madness. Quap completely getting juked out by that reinforcement layer. Does decide to go for that buyback or come back on that Scream again. I don't know how much he actually cares. Hey, he decided to roll in on the Snapfire. Do get a quick stun off. Snapfire unable to move herself out of the way in harm's way. It's going to go ahead and fall. Snapfire does come with the buyback. That sound effect triggers the ability to run for most people in their heads. But let's see what they decide to do with this. It looks like Quap is going to come back in, devotes her Scream to the Snapfire, and they're going to pick off this Centaur War Runner once again. Void jumps in despite it being a 1v5 game just to feed one more time. AA still with the buyback ready. Could have been potentially beneficial, stopping a lot of that regeneration. Well, it looks like they're going to get this bottom tower of racks. Unfortunately, they can't push in the top one. So they're going to either have to go for the win at this point. If that's the case, they shouldn't be hitting racks anyway. They should be hitting towers. Or they're going to rotate to the top. Looks like Batrider's already found his cue to rotate up there. He needs to get that top lane pushed. They're going to be going for the win here. 45 seconds left on the Void, 24 seconds on the Centaur. They're going to try to force Wraith King to come out and potentially feed or lose the game. Wraith King does have his ultimate still up. I still don't see AA sending his blast anywhere in the middle of that fight. I'd probably be screaming AA ulti because the cooldown on AA's ultimate is very low. Completely silenced out now. Snapfire does jump in. Looks like they're going to get a quick throw onto the Quap, who is currently BKB'd, so unable to do a whole lot. Looks like the tower, or the well's going to do some damage to the Earth Spirit. Blinked out from the Quap. Looks like everybody's being ordered to disengage. Earth Spirit still stuck in there, gonna get hit up by that Void Spirit. He's pretty much quick working toast. And looks like Ogre Magi wants to hang out by himself. He's there with the Bat Rider, but by himself, mainly because that Bat Rider wasn't going to be there for long. They don't have vision to take out the Ogre Magi, who basically popped Glimmer Cape and teleported out. No hesitation on that from his part. Pretty ideal. I don't see any dust. There is vision. There's vision on the AA. Very likely going to rotate top, push in through the top side, take him out. There's no such thing as backdoor protection on a tier 1. So he could have easily just sent that bear to nuke down that tier 1 with no problem. Did not do so. Decided to go get the creep farm instead. Still ends up picking up the 90 gold for that tier 1. That bear is very scary. Oh, the stun. The quick ult from the Lone Druid. Lone Druid does not have BKB. Does end up invisible. Bear is quickly getting nuked down by the Wraith King. Wraith King does have his ulti up. They're going to put Bloodlust on the bear. Send that sucker back in because the bear dies. You'll probably be okay. Looks like Earth Spirit's going to come in, get another stun popped off. They're going to start right-clicking this Wraith King down. Life number 1 on the Wraith King. Primary focus. He is isolated by himself. Unfortunately, they're just going to let him go. Mortimer Kiss is coming in from the Snapfire. Snapfire sitting as far back lane as can. Is unable to actually pick off anybody. Everybody's up. Bat Rider just did return. Bat Rider teleporting in. Snapfire does get knocked down. Bat Rider retreats out, does go back to the secret shop, picks up his Ags, and he's coming back in. Blink Dagger finally picked up on the Bat Rider, which in my opinion is going to make him lethal. Downside is he picked it up 36 minutes in. I don't know if that's necessarily what I would do. However, I am not in the middle of this game. Oh, man. So, Tier 1 fell. They got a refresh on their fortification glyph. They're going to go ahead and jump in, nuke down this the Void Spirit, and there goes the Centaur. Wraith King, buyback to the dieback, does not have, and they paused. Is this a courtesy pause? They know it's GG. Why are you pausing? Let it go. Yes, and that is a GG call, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see that is, man, that was just a very beautiful game. I got to say, I would have bought that Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider a lot sooner. Definitely would have bought that a lot sooner. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, but they still ended up picking up the win anyway. Go Celestials. Unfortunately, this is a loss. Oh, man. You know, Celestials, you did a really good job. Absolutely proud of you guys. That was really awesome to see. Looks like KIBA, unfortunately, not able to pick up the win there. Then when it comes to itemization here, Bat Rider, I think, wasn't anywhere near as effective without that early Blink Dagger. He didn't necessarily die a lot. He's still 13-5, but he could have got significantly more pickoffs with the Flaming Lasso and that Blink Dagger. He did take mid away from Quap. Quap still was very overwhelming with the 14-5 kill, even though she ended up in the off lane, not even necessarily a safe lane. It was her and the Earth Spirit who kind of ran that off lane really well. It was I gotta say, it was a little bit tough for her, but she did an amazing job. You have the Lone Druid who got his bear significantly fat. Apparently this is a low game for this Lone Druid, so he definitely plays quite a bit of Lone Druid. Had a little tough time, did not see a lot of tough time coming out, but stats apparently it was a little bit rougher than what he's used to. Earth Spirit did do a very beautiful job. Basically those magnetizes were so critical, very good with the magnetize ultis, was able to pick off a lot of additional damage. It's a slow tick, but that tick is very consistent on the magnetize, so really good job from the Earth Spirit. Ogre, unfortunately, he just got ganked over and over and over. He was kind of free food to an extent, but there's not a lot you can do on an Ogre who doesn't have an Ether Lens, doesn't have that range. The Ether Lens being hyper-critical to make sure your Ogre never dies. I like to prioritize my Ogres to get Ether Lens so that way I don't have to worry about a feeding Ogre, and then they can pick up the Veil of Discord as well as the Glimmering Cape. Veil of Discord on that Ignite, of course, multiplies that magic damage. You still have a lot of damage coming out from everybody else on top of it. Snapfire. Bleeding Dagger. She did pick up that early Medallion of Courage, which did a lot of work early on. Wraith King just was not tanky enough to be able to survive, despite at one point in time having Aegis and 2 lives, did melt. And a lot of that melting came to that bear rooting. It's once you get that bear root and you're stuck in a spot, you're basically going to live there until you die. And they did that over and over and over again. Centaur War Runner, unfortunately, did not get enough farm to have any kind of strength advantage. Not enough levels either. As you can see, level 19 versus a level 22 Ogre. 19 on a core versus a 22 that's sitting on the sidelines as a which basically this guy's like position 5 at this point, not getting a lot of farm, but still was able to out-level the Centaur War Runner. Now, the War Runner has one of the highest strength games of the game, which actually helped with that retaliate, but did not get a pick up on a Blade Mail, unfortunately. Did get a decent Blink Dagger timing, but got that significantly late. At the Lotus Orb, Vanguard, I like the tankiness, but you have to have a tank plus the ability to retaliate that tankiness, which comes in the Blade Mail. AA, I gotta say, AA needed to spam his ultimate significantly more. The AA ultimate is Ice Blast has this really low cooldown. There's no reason why not to just send it out. Even if your friend's going a 1v1, a 1v2, don't save it for those big time fights. You don't necessarily need to save it for those giant ultimates that are like you see across the globe that you're coming across the map. Even if you're hitting 1 or 2 with your ultimate, as long as it's the most important ones, for example, the Lone Druid, the Bat Rider, somebody that's doing really ganky, or even the Quap, you end up doing significantly more to stop them from mobility. You basically slow them down. You slow all of the regen. They end up slowly ticking down, especially if you tag on the Urn of Shadows. That's kind of compound damage. It ends up just being more dust than most people can deal with. And then you have the Void Spirit, who I think Void Spirit had a very decent game. Unfortunately, just was not able to contend without a tank. Unfortunately, and I say Snapfire did fairly well, at least in the early game, but Snapfire, unfortunately, just was not able to get out of in the proper position, especially once Blink Dagger was set up on the Bat Rider. Quap's able to jump on the back line just naturally. The Earth Spirit, I mean, he rolled into Snapfire every single time those Mortimer Kisses came out. So it was a really tough system for Snapfire, which I'm assuming, and I didn't see the draft portion, but I'm assuming Snapfire was the first pick, and then they just played around a lot of those Mortimer Kisses to make sure they had some way to do that catch-up mechanic. It is my wife's birthday. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to take off. I had a beautiful time. Thank you, Mother Russia, for giving us this beautiful series of Dota here. It has been fun. It has been great, and I will absolutely be doing this again with you. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I don't do the commercial. I don't even know what it's called, but follow? Is it follow? I think it's called follow. Just do you. I'll do me. If you want to watch more of me, I'll be happy to be here for you. Well, it's been fun. It's been great, and we'll absolutely